There we go. Good evening, everyone. I am the Magical Mr. Mephisto. Welcome to the best Damn Soulbound Show, the tabletop RPG show where some of your favorite content creators from across the game of Age of Sigmar play Soulbound. This is episode 11, called Schemes, and I had to pronounce it because I called it Schemes. And there's but one way to pronounce it, and it is Schemes. So how are y'all tonight?
Good, man.
Doing well.
Right on. And last week we did kind of a little bit of a... Last week we did a little bit of like a what I called intermission. I had intended to do a little bit of a sort of a segue adventure with a little just character building, character interaction, and stuff like that. And that was delivered by way of sort of gitz. So I'll go ahead and let Vince and Chuck kind of recap it for the two party members that were missing.
Well, it started off with some very good or some very bad mushrooms, followed by us wandering the I guess Axiom plains outside Anvilgard in our own personal hallucinations. I was dancing around a field of corn and blood.
So the mushrooms that were abound for a while. You made them a warm meal, Bigwinter, and they ate the big meal and they all started like tripping out, and like Fyrgrim ended up like naked in a field like screaming at the moon. Like it was just like the whole just a silly little like Cowboy Bebop styled mushroom adventure type thing until you all. Go ahead.
Well, we came to our senses eventually, and,
right.
And Bigwinter, thank you. You protected us and watched us to make sure we didn't hurt ourselves or be hurt. Then there's this big rock. There's a goblin on a squig, but more importantly, there was a squig. All right, that's the key takeaway. And
yeah, because they're delicious.
No, because they're cute and cuddly whenever you pick them up, and they turn into tiny little stuffed animals in your arms. So, Lanissa is going to be getting a squig this night.
Yeah, long story short, the ogre got us high. The three of us then wandered around the desert. The ogre followed. We found a loon shrine that some kind of spider boss lives in. But then we got met by a bounder, like a goblin knight. He said a lot of words that didn't mean anything, that were all nonsense. And then Lanissa fell in love with a squig and decided she wanted her own. And the goblin said that he would get Lanissa a squig if we went and helped him with this quest that he had.
Yes.
So
to pick up the rock.
Like a Don Quixote style quest?
Seemingly, he's alone. He said he's trying to get along in his organization. He works for some different goblins. They don't like the spider guy. So now we're helping this goblin guy.
Yeah, he's a Squiggar Rockhopper, and his adorable squig pet is Slaypole.
Yep. So you met a Squizgar Rockhopper and his adorable pet Slaypool. And real quick for folks sort of watching at home here, I've got my map up here. The party. Oh, go ahead.
So in this next adventure, are we going to see more Slaypool or less Slaypool?
This guy gets it.
Joke explainer. Off the Charwind coast that you can see is the Sea of Cheese. We can sail it.
Yes. Squizgar Rockhopper has a squeetar. His real dream is actually to be a squitarist in a traveling band or something like that, but he can't do that unless he gets vacation time, and he can only do that if he completes his quest. Like he just has a dream of eating candy and playing guitar with his buddy Slaypool.
No, Bigwinter fully understands the first half of that.
So I will direct your attention here to the map. So you guys are actually sort of in these Brudos Hills to the south of Anvilgard. It's wilderness, jungly, even a little bit with like vines and crazy Axian wilderness. There are actually separate biomes within the various mortal realms. Like there's actually places that get snow in Axi. It's usually pretty metal and like it's got its fair share of ash with it, but you know, the point is, so you're kind of like in this jungly, foresty style, like hilly, sort of like foothills type thing, and you're kind of winding your way towards the Reaver Waste. And I promised that I would sort of we used my amorphous gray blob rule a little bit ago, and I would fill in the details. So I'm going to fill in the details as you sort of follow Squizgar through this little sort of like jungle area, jungle light area. I'll kind of recount. I think Skig in particular is sort of reflecting upon the words of Dame Tamia. And just while I have the map up before I switch over, you're in the Brudos Hills. You will be crossing the Reaver Wastes to Edassa here. So you're heading that way. And then you have Lanissa. Did you mentioned that you need to get to Hammerhall, right? Like I think it was your sort of endeavor to get to Hammerhall.
Yes, based upon the letter from Anders.
Yeah, Avender had a letter for you. Yeah, Avender had a letter for you. Hammerhall is sort of just on the other side of Edassa, and it's got port access to. I won't share all your details, but you kind of mentioned that like got to get to Hammerhall, and this sort of Realmstone expert is en route in Edassa, but of course you have to cross these Reaver Wastes. So I'm going to go ahead and take on my screen share now, that we all have context. And I'm going to, as I sort of read some words that Skig is sort of recount and rolling through his head. He's just as a silly quest type thing, you know, like helping out a goblin. You sort of have flashes of Tamia sort of recounting like where you must go and who you must meet with. Swathed in the desert haze of the Flamescar Plateau stand the ancient red brick battlements and golden rooftops of Edassa. In the Age of Myth, Edassa was considered to be one of the grandest cities in the Great Parch, a fact most Edassans are swift to make known. Its position on the Great Ash Road, an ancient defile of soot and char, supposedly carved out of the land when Grimnir hurled Volcatrix from the caustic peaks, once made Edassa paramount in trade within the Central Parch. You'll also happen to know that during the Age of Chaos, this very same road was sort of used by Khorne to pretty much assault everywhere. It's since been reclaimed in the age of Sigmar. Despite its lack of a realm gate, Edassa is a cosmopolitan and prosperous, widely known for its ancient university, pure deep wells, overflowing bazaars, and the gladiatorial games fought on its famed Colosseum, the Red Sands. The elite soldiers of Edassa, the Lionesses, are as famous as Edassa itself, synonymous with its reputation as the cultural epoch. Images and statues of great sword-wielding warrior women draped in heavy lion's pelts are widely famed, and you'll see them upon your approach. You seek Miora's spire near Edassa itself. The eponymous master of its grounds, Miora is every bit the scholarly mystic and wizard you'd expect trained by a proper collegiate arcane, and vicious battle shaman, blending Edassa's history of worshipping the Flamescar lion as a divine beast with reverence for Sigmar as a great lion-headed god. She's a mage of dichotomies and one of the foremost experts on Realmstone, and not just your own. You just have to cross...
What was the name on that person?
Her name is Miora. And according to Tamia, Miora's spire is actually just outside of the city proper. It's sort of like in the borders there. You can see the city from her spire and vice versa. You'll just have to cross the Reaver Waste to get there. Be wary. The ruins of Armentia, a once great aerial city, are shattered across the dreaded lands. It's not the treasure hunters seeking ancient relics, marvels, and scattered texts you need to worry about. It's the remnants of Khorne's daemons and swaths of nomadic tribes that may still worship him, Sigmar, both, or neither, in constant conflict that brings swift death, that could bring swift death to anyone who ventures into the wastes. remnants of the Aglaraxi Empire's still functioning war constructs are also known to roam the Reaver Wastes, driven mad by their lack of masters.
Cool.
So
Cool.
And it's at this point that we kind of cast our minds back to the jungles here, and Fyrgrim, you're finally coming down from the shrimp. You came down from the shrimps a little bit sooner than, like, say, Skig, and I mean, you're a dwarf after all. Not even a hangover. And you're maybe curious about, like, what this might be like brewed, perhaps. But last adventure, we kind of skipped over. When you encountered that orc, it sort of jostled something loose, and now with the hallucinogens, a full memory kind of comes back to you of the face of Nihilus before he took up the name Nihilus. Once an actual good guy, an actual hero that you had traveled with, and now hearing the name like Edassa and remembering you're like, wait a minute, I've been to Edassa. I've been to Edassa with Nihilus, and that's like, and it's just this nagging thought you have. You're not quite certain why. You're not quite certain why or where, but you're certain of it. This fragment of a memory just like completely jostled itself loose.
I've been here before.
Well, you're not to Edassa yet, but you know you're.
Oh, okay. Am I with the party, or am I meeting up?
Nope. You're currently with the party. You both went into sort of autopilot when they went on their little hijinks. Dosed on mushrooms, and now they're helping out a goblin. But the main quest is to get to Edassa and meet up with this sort of wizard this Myora who's supposed to know something about realm stones and perhaps what Nihilus is doing. You know that in a different life, in an old binding, you knew Nihilus by a different name. His name then was Ailan.
Ailan?
Ailan.
I reflect on this amongst the party. I think I knew Nihilus once.
Oh yeah? How?
He was I traveled with him to Edassa, actually, where we're headed now.
Okay. You remember anything useful about him? Weaknesses? Allergic to tree nuts, maybe?
Nothing that comes to mind, unfortunately.
Shame.
This was in one of your past lives?
Yes. A lifetime ago.
Well, if you think of anything that you think would help, bring it up. Maybe, maybe pray on it.
Of course.
Pray where he likes to be stabbed. Preferably.
Speaking of stabbings, Lanissa, you have a rare and very specific gift. When you're being watched by a particular type of eye, you feel those eyes on you briefly and then fleeting, and you catch a glint sort of off, stuck into the trunk of a tree.
I unsheath my sickles.
Squiz-
Slowly walk over.
Squizgar, at a slow amble from atop his perch on Slaypool, is kind of veering through a recently trodden path, obviously trodden by himself, kind of away from that direction. Doesn't seem to notice you. The party, roll an awareness. You don't have to roll an awareness to see. You're not making an attempt to be secretive about the fact that you pull out your sickles and stuff, but just DN4. 4. We'll call it 4-2 because it is lightly vegetated. Yes, 1.
2.
1. All of you see Lanissa move off the sort of path and stop following Squizgar. You don't quite see what Lanissa sees.
Okay. So she's just walking away?
Unsheathes her sickles and just sort of veers right instead of, straight.
Hey, knight.
Ah!
Welcome in.
Whoa! And he pats Slaypool on the side. Trots back. He just kind of holds his position.
I'm going to immediately keep following her.
Okay.
Because I was just following whoever the next person in the line was.
Okay. Fyrgrim and Skig, you stay with with the Boingrot Bounder. Yeah,
sure, at the moment.
The Boingy Knight. All right, Lanissa, you see sort of stuck in a tree a familiar looking sort of arrow. Not that you've seen this particular arrow before, but you're familiar with its construct. And it has just a single rune carved into the haft.
I see if there's is there any poison that might have been laced on it at all?
Oh, this arrow would usually be poisoned with a particularly noxious sort of poison from a very specific source. But this one is not. This has the express purpose, and you can tell from the sort of it's got a particular streak of plumage in what is it called? It's flashing actually on an arrow, right? It's got a particular fletching. Yeah, you can see in the fletching it's got a little a couple streaks that are modifiers to what the rune would mean. If you see if you see 2 streaks of green in it, then it means one thing with this rune, that sort of thing. This particular thing, I will be sending you a private message.
Okay, I'll pull out the arrow since there's no poison on it, and kind of just tuck it into my cloak.
Arrow worth saving.
What'd you find?
Nothing. Just thought I saw something.
Okay.
Bigwinter, you see the arrow. You see this gesture, I think, unless you attempted to roll a stealth.
I tried to attempt to roll stealth on it.
You see, at this point, you're going to see. I mean, I guess this would be opposed, so just DN4s, your stealth equivalent.
Two.
You're going to see the arrow for sure. I got none.
Yeah. All right. You see, you not only do you see Lanissa pluck this arrow from the tree, you're also aware that she tried to be secretive about it. Just the gesture of it all and sort of the mechanics of how she moved her body.
Oh, okay. And so when somebody yelled, was it Squig or somebody is like, hey, what'd you find? Or what'd you say?
Yeah, I was like, what'd you find?
Nothing. I just thought I saw something.
It's a secret arrow.
Okay.
What's so secret about it?
The situation around it. I don't think it's the arrow itself. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right, let's go. Lead on, knight.
Just finishing this private message to.
Sure.
Where are we going, anyways?
I've never known that, friend Squig, for the past 3 months.
Skig. Don't get my name confused now with the Squig. I'm Skig. He's a Squig.
Did I say
things.
Squig?
The hairy one doesn't bounce. He doesn't bounce so well.
It's true.
All right. It's about this moment where you sort of turn, you begin to reconvene, and you have this little bit of this jungle haze going on, And through it you start to spot what can only be described as sort of skittering, perhaps shambling shadows, just sort of flitting from tree to tree.
Okay.
I wonder if they're after the secret arrow.
It could be. Good point. Was the arrow worth a lot? Was it like made of something that's worth a lot?
The arrow stuff.
Like meat? Was it a meat arrow?
No, just a regular arrow. I just liked it. But I thought I saw some. I thought it was a different type of arrow, but it was this type of arrow, and I'm collecting it.
No, look at this.
I don't think you are telling the truth.
Okay.
I don't
You
know why
always
you
think
would
that.
lie,
No wax got me.
but I don't think you're telling the truth.
No wax got me.
And she busts out like butterflies on pins level arrow collection from the cloak.
Mm-hmm. Are you
Be
saying
like,
you think it
oh,
really
man,
is a
good.
meat arrow?
We'll do that along with it.
I don't know, but Lanissa, you're
Private-
making me nervous. Is everything okay?
Andrew,
Yeah, private matters for my kind. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Oh, private arrows.
Private arrows?
Is that how your people communicate? Do they just leave arrows randomly in trees? It's no wonder that your kind hasn't had much success in sort of the overall expansion of their place in the mortal realms. If that's how you communicate, that is a horribly inefficient system.
Well, sometimes they will just leave it in the closest person next to the person they're trying to leave the message for, but I think they understand that you're all my friends.
That still seems very inefficient. You gotta put a message on an arrow, then you gotta go find it, then you gotta hope you hit that person with the arrow. This is just. Have your people heard of paper?
I saw the arrow. Clearly the system works.
Sure.
Bigwinter's kind of beside himself, no longer listening. Even her friends know we're friends.
Myriad's just nodding, at the word drop of friends, a couple times. It's about this point in time that the sort of ambush becomes obvious. It's the goblins that sort of you see that sort of little in the peripheral, some mandibles and spindly limbs coming down from the trees as you've had sort of pursuers more hastily than I suppose a coordinated ambush. So pursuers from the Loon Shrine sort of spring upon you. Oh right, Bigwinter, an important detail, you're actually carrying the crescent on your back. The actual stone portion itself.
How breakable is it? No reason.
I mean, it's a massive stone thing. It can chip and break, but it's not likely to break easily. The tip might get blunted or something.
Yeah, you're carrying a little proto-loon shrine with us.
What?
We brought it along. It wasn't that big.
It's a
Is it like a statue, kind of?
I don't know that this is going to end well.
I'm sure it's going to be fine. So, oh, look, spiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so go ahead and roll for initiative, everyone.
Sure.
time for fire.
All right, Fyrgrim,
10.
Lanissa,
Also 10.
Bigwinter.
10.
Whoa, look at this. Myriad,
Myriad's rocking an 11.
bad guys.
Whoa, settle down, Myriad.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Bad guys go last, and the and Slaypool gets a 9.
Okay.
That's proper.
Okay.
All right. Well, Myriad. So what's around us?
Uh,
give me a zone setup /
Yep,
spider
yep.
situation.
So you've sort of in the to the rear, you have you have like to the rear, which is where the bulk of the Grot forces are coming from. It's mostly just like foot. It's mostly just like foot Grots with like little spears and makeshift weapons and that sort of thing. They are adorning. So Slaypool and Squizgar are very classically like Night Goblin garbed, as we established before. These guys are rocking like a little bit more of a hodgepodge of like cloth and robes that have been like stitched together with like sort of like feathers and then like various bits of like carapace and stuff. So they look a little bit
like
more
forest spider goblins.
Yeah. So they're pretty distinctively different. That is to say, if you're thinking about friendly fire there, Lanissa. And the bulk of them, there's about 10 of them on foot. And you've got about 3 of these spiders up in the tree. 10 of them are in that sort of, we'll call it zone 1, which is like the sort of rear flank. You have 2 spiders in that same clutch, making a dozen total there. And the spiders are not being ridden currently. They're not the huge ones. They're like the small, which would be spider riders. They don't appear to have riders on them. The one above you, however, that's sort of in your zone, kind of descending down, the one that sort of dramatically enters the camera shot, that one does have a rider. Seems to be carrying like a big stick and like chanting and screaming at the others in like a indiscernible language.
So just to clarify, we're in, let's call our zone Zone 1, and there is a spider rider in our zone.
Yes.
Are the other 2 spiders in that zone as well, or are they in?
They're bringing up the rear. This guy charged forward and like, come on,
So they're in like zone 2 up above us, effectively,
right
in the trees.
Yeah.
And then all of the foot goblins are in zone 3 behind us. Is that accurate? All right. So 10 gobos on foot in zone 3 behind us, 2 regular unmounted spiders in the trees above us in zone 2, and 1 spider rider in our zone dropping down on top. Okay. Got it. All right. Myriad, start us off.
Myriad chooses a particular vial of ancestry, is going to opt to be defensive. And so he gets the defensive stance, twirling the scythe in front of him, and he is going to just go to put his body between you and the main spider rider. He's going to go to actually like shear the spider itself, because fuck spiders.
Sure.
Checks out.
Spiders are creepy.
Where is it? There it is. Okay. It's all coming back to me. It's only been a week. Gosh darn it, Andrew. Oh, okay. Busting out my Lumineth dice for the first time.
Nice.
The good ones or the square ones?
The bad ones. The ones that are functional. These disgustingly functional ones. Oh, okay. He cleaves the spider in twain and actually manages to like shear through the spider and hit the rider too with the sort of reaping arc that he attacks in. The rider falls to the ground. The spider is sort of sheared in half, and this like you hear like the wind kind of get knocked from the Grot's lungs, but he's still alive.
Okay. Cool. Fyrgrim.
I will start belting out a rowdy tune to inspire my allies. Ho, ho, ho. I need to double check that to make sure that I'm not going to lie what I'm about to say. Where's this stupid skill? Battle Rage. Nope. 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 Where is my singing skill? Legendary Saga. Oh no, we're totally good. Everybody gets plus 4 damage. They're my zone.
Sure.
And you know what? Let's have some fiery weapons. So I will metal.
These scrots are so screwed.
It's what I do.
Sometimes you gotta fight kobolds and just, show off a little bit.
And then we're going to Inferno Blades. So I'm at 5. Looking for 3 successes on 5s. I can twist 3 of these. 1, 2. Yep. So I'll get my successes. So everybody's at +1 additional fire damage, and anything your weapons hit light it on fire.
Okay.
So you're at +5 damage right now.
I mean, this is proper. The way you attack spiders is by killing them with fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
You burn them.
Real talk.
Okay.
Yep.
Solid. Anything else?
Pretty-
Sure.
Nah.
All right. Lanissa.
What's alive in our current zone for all these lovely bonuses?
There is a single goblin shaman essentially like trying to like get itself off the ground. Well, it didn't land prone or anything, but
There's a goblin
no.
shaman standing right in front of you is the short answer.
If you leave my zone, you're at +1 damage. If you're in my zone, you're at +5.
I will stay in the zone. I will swing away this shaman.
it has an average.
Oh, poor guy.
Ooh, okay.
It does have some armor though. That's why it was just sort of like knocked down and not skewered by the splash damage.
$14 damage. And essentially like a bleed, I guess. Whatever.
14 damage.
And lit on fire.
You cleave it essentially in half with the sickle, and like its top half just spirals away on fire.
Nice. Nice.
Ooh. Okay, well, there's going to be some dead goblins here, because that's a Kraith.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
I shall leave. Well, I guess I can't, because they're not in the same zone, though.
You
Yeah,
can
you can
move
still leave
freely.
the zone.
You can move freely.
You
yeah.
haven't. You didn't
really?
move
Okay.
yet. So you could have moved your crate and then take your
I
crate.
will, I will do that. What's the armor on these poor, pathetic goblins?
It is poor.
Oh, they're in the zone, the auto zone.
Aw.
You're
Splitting
still
your...
+1 to damage over on these guys.
Uh, 6 to one and 7 to the other.
That's with your +1?
Yes, because I'm also -1 because I have that shield thing on right now, so it kind of evens out.
Okay. 1 second. Sorry. Lost my page. I think they're just like 5. Oh! Toast. They're gone.
How many are left?
Yeah. 8 and 2 spiders.
Oh, well, let's take out a couple more. I'm going to metal.
Okay. You cannot Kraith again this turn, by the way. So it's...
I
don't think you have to tell Chuck how Kraith works.
I got it.
I mean, the real question is if they get a new battle totem and it gets buffed, do I change it to a 5-up instead of a 6-up?
Of course. But that'll just be like something she learns as she
Progresses, levels up.
Yeah. It'll be better narratively explained in this game than it will in the book.
Right. We'll have like a training montage where there's like a sunset and she's like... Go ahead.
I will continue my dance of death to do 6 to one of the goblins and 5 to the another one on my right.
Just this whirling dervish of murder and blood spray and also fire continues as you just sort of like almost like a fire dancer with these wreaths of flame circling around you as just 2 more explode.
Cool. One more medal. One more time. Let's do this dance. 5 to one and 7 to the other.
2 more down. 4 remain with 2 spiders. And I'm sorry, Grimslacker. The netters are for later. We want a little squash match at the beginning of the card to amp people into the adrenaline, and then you bring out the hard fights.
Sure. Okay. That brings us to Bigwinter.
All right, what's left after that?
4 grots and 2 spiders.
2 spiders are kind of like up above us a little bit. The 4 spiders are over in the zone behind us.
Yeah, it's got to be the spiders. They're the real threat. Well, not threat, but
yeah. I mean, you're big. You fight with a pike. You can hit some spoders.
All right, I'll move into their area and pike some spiders.
All right. They have average armor.
I'm now out of the flame zone.
No, you're out of the chanting zone. You still get +1 you still get +1 to damage, and you light things on fire.
Oh, but I lose the +4 damage. Okay.
Yes.
This saddens me, but it is unavoidable.
It's okay. I'll be there in a minute.
What's the armor on these guys? Or not armor, but
their defense is average.
It's average, and my melee is great, so I'm on 2s or 3s.
Average, good, great. You should be on 2s.
Yay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I had that wrong. Oh, I'm totally wrong. It's any ally that starts their turn in my zone.
Ooh, that's good.
That's better.
So yes, so you would still have the
That's
damage.
like way better.
That's
Yeah.
real good.
That's
Yeah.
actually kind of a game changer. All right, I'm gonna convert that to a 2, convert that to a 6.
Sorry.
If I hit with everything and I ignore 2 armor.
Lanissa, you did a lot more damage to those dead guys.
Yeah, those dead guys are much
A
more.
lot more. Yes.
I chop them in half, and then they just fall into 12 pieces. It's like, ooh.
Well, that happened. Yeah.
In which case, I do like 11 damage, and 2 of it ignores armor, and then he starts on fire for 1 damage.
You like lift it out the tree and then drive it like pile drive it into the ground. It's on fire and mostly becoming mulch.
And I will meddle and do it again.
All right. Love chat gang here. Those LOL, those dead guys really died.
Yeah. They're very much more dead now.
Checks out.
This time I only do 10 damage, ignoring 1 armor, and then another fire damage on top of it.
That's enough. That'll get you there. Not quite as flashy as the previous one, because pretty much the perfect kill. So like you skewer it, and dump it.
Cool. Myself, I will take the dodge action. I don't feel like I'm necessary in this fight. We're good at the moment. That's fine. And that brings us to Sir Knight.
Skwisgar like hoists his lance to the air, points, Slaypool charge! He shouts, and then and the charge isn't so much a charge as it is just a leap into the sky. He like gets caught, like bangs about in the trees a little bit, and then like lands and smashes one of the grots. The other 3 just like dive away like an action movie. I think the 3 go. 2 of them are going to jump Lanissa, who is the clear and present danger, and one's going to go to kill the sort of traitor grot, Skwisgar. They perceive Skwisgar to be. What's your defense, Lanissa?
I am good.
Good. Okay. Ooh. One of them manages to punch through with 3 damage. And the other one does nothing.
It's a good thing I got this armor.
One of them manages to hit Squizgar. His armor, because he is a knight after all, manages to deflect the blow.
No. It hits Squizgar, not Slaypool.
Yeah, targeting the traitor grot, as it were. New initiative?
Yep, that's new-ish. Okay, Fyrgrim.
5.
Lanissa.
13.
Bigwinter.
6.
Myriad.
10.
Sir Knight.
He gets a 9 again.
And bad guys.
Ooh, bad guys get a 7.
Okay. Cool. Lanissa, start us off.
Alright, I'm going to take out 2 of these goblins that flew away from the mighty Slaypool.
I mean, if you deal damage, they explode.
Okay, two explode then.
Yeah, you just explode 2 of them. You just have to not botch the attack rolls. You have so much bonuses. You
Yeah, I'm way up there right now.
So yeah, they're just hot knife through butter. 2 dead. 1 remains.
And no crate this time, but I'll hold there. I think we're in good shape.
Okay.
Myself. I take the dodge action. Myriad.
Myriad's just gonna soul blast the last one. It's toast. He just it just gets hit with the sort of pulsing necrotic energy and just begins to do the classic age and die thing.
Nice. All right. Is that all of them?
Yeah, yeah. You made quick work of them.
Cool.
Two rounds. I'd almost say pathetic for killing 13 things, but
All right. Well, those spiders will be good eating. A lot of meat in there.
Yeah, thanks for taking those on, Bigwinter.
Yeah, I'm harvesting.
It's kind of like shudder.
good to get the spiders out of the fight early.
The ultimate comeuppance and proof of superiority is to eat your foes. So you kill the spider because the spider is an abomination. This is true, but as the ultimate insult, you eat it. And then you are free.
I'm okay.
So Fyrgrim, you sang. Squizgar.
I'll drag some of the goblin bodies over too, so he can throw them in the pot as well, because they're good eating as well.
Squizgar dismounts and kneels before you, holding aloft his squeetar, and he's like, "If you need someone to play for you ever, I can," he says, and he goes to put it on, he holds up his guitar and then he puts it back on his back.
I nod my head, confused.
Yeah, you guys could get some kind of band together.
Squizgar takes a moment to survey the land. "I don't think any more of them are following us," he says, and then he remounts and beckons you through the woods, and about an hour and some change through the woods, following a careful path and trying to be scoutly. You come upon a crude encampment. Well, rather great by grot standards. With sort of little makeshift tents made of various animal skins and rock piles and stuff like that. You can see at the center of it an altar where a great moon should be. And you kind of come through, So he comes through first, and you see a bunch of grots dressed very similar to him. You can actually see like a little sort of like stables off to the side where like the squigs sort of like bounce around and like kind of like sort of like squish into each other and just kind of meander about. They fight over like hunks of meat that they're being fed, and you see like a little sort of like outpost of actual grots. And they see Skwisgar first, like let down their guards, and then immediately afterwards they see the ogre, which is like they regard like they see that Skwisgar's not eaten yet, and so they're like cautious. And then they see the rest of the party, and like the arms kind of immediately come out. They begin to move into sort of like they start banging pots together, and like they start to sort of rally the camp. When Skwisgar like holds up a hand and points to the moon. The goblins are in varying states of still about to fight anyway. When basically the biggest goblin you've ever seen emerges from the grandest sort of like the strategy tent at the center, clad in actual like moon, like this sort of moon-shaped helmet and armor, and wielding a wicked club on his back. Skwisgar sort of drops, dismounts, rushes forward, and like drops down before Loon Boss Beastas. They helped me get the Loon Shrine back, he says. And it's at this point that like Loon Boss Beastas doesn't really like say anything anymore, like grunts, just and he just like moves his hand across the air, and the rest of the grots like kind of stay their weapons and sort of like line back, and you can see the crowd like sort of part as the party descends down the hill into the valley, carrying the Loon Shrine, this chunk of Loon Shrine with them.
Thought we were gonna have more fun.
They made the right choice.
Hey, I got this moon. Where do you want the moon?
We're supposed to put it down on that rock.
Loon Boss Beastas. Just kind of like you just hear muffled under his like moon-shaped helmet.
They're like Bane.
Yeah, put it on the rock. That's exactly where it should be.
Pretty much. Well, he doesn't really talk, and he just like nods and sort of leads you over to their own like sort of little makeshift altar. You will notice upon approach that the sort of remnants of other moons, not quite as grand as this one, are around, as if they're sort of like leveling up.
Okay. All right, I'll put the.
You don't get the really big like terrain feature one. You don't start out there. You have to like go
until
on.
you're up to an army. Yeah. You gotta...
Yeah.
This is a battalion. That's pretty good, but not. Oh, I can't remember what their bases were, and from the Moon Clan book. I know the tunnels are called the Everdank, and that was really what they're called, and I found that hilarious. But I can't remember what their like home base areas were.
Yeah, so you actually essentially have these grots. I mean, it doesn't take much. I don't know how familiar the party is. Really pick your level of how much you know about them. Goblins are pretty common. Pick your level of like what you think your character would know about them, or if you wish to roll.
Gitmob grots are the most pathetic creatures in the realms, but gitz are different.
Yeah, and you can roll a lore roll to know a little bit more. You'd have to roll an actual religion or a theology to know about the Loon Shrine, which Skig, you already rolled. You already know about the Loon Shrine. Bigwinter and Fyrgrim, who weren't here last week, you can go ahead and roll if you would like. You actually roll a theology to know about the Loon Shrine.
Right, I got 3d6.
And
one.
I have lore. Can I just throw lore?
Lore won't go as in depth, but like lore would let you know something about it. Yeah.
Cool. What DC am I looking at?
4. DN 4. Again, grots are pretty common. 4. We'll go just 4-1.
I have 3 successes.
Okay. this is functionally the same as also succeeding at a religion check. So you just happen to have read the right tome and retained all the knowledge, not just about like sort of grots in general. These are certainly some band of Gloomspite Gitz, so named on account of like their worship of the bad moon. This is a loon shrine. You know the battle tome basically. Like you know the information. You don't know the minutia of like their various clans and tribes, but you know what the loon shrine is. You know about the bad moon. You know that these Gitz seem to.
I turned to Fyrgrim. Oh, so that's why the Spider Fang were so shitty.
Typically,
we know the battle tome, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Typically, the loon shrine would be outside of like a cave entrance or something, and it would be rather affixed. But this one seems to be a traveling like loon shrine. They actually have like a little like cart, and they have like these little squig beasts of burden like Xerxes, like you know, like in a 300 where they just like move the whole platform like carrying it forward. Except in this case, it's just like squigs kind of rolling underneath it like logs, and that's how they drift. They drift along their loon shrine.
A Zoom shrine.
Yeah. These Gitz are for all of you based on what you know. The fact that they're building encampments and they have a mobile loon shrine, it strikes you as odd. It further strikes it's odder still that they almost have almost a human-like, we'll say, comforts about.
Yeah, sure. How tall is the loon boss?
The loon boss is actually like you know, like 5'10"-ish.
I'm gonna pull him to the side sometime. It's for first opportunity. I'm gonna get real close to him, like right up in his face. I'm gonna sniff him. And I'm gonna say,
bigger than a git, never talks.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna be like, so how'd you trick all these goblins?
He like grunts and groans, and like Squizgar's like, the mighty beast sauce
away from everybody else. By the way, I'm not trying to get him to give up the game.
Yeah, the Beastos is like, the loon boss wishes to speak to the guests in private. Go back to what you're doing, and he just starts shouting and waving his arms, and then Beastos leads you into that center sort of encampment. You go inside. His clad in this sort of like armor. He's got the like wicked serrated plates. Like he looks like the awesome loon boss in all.
Yeah.
But like
I got it. Yeah. Sweet fig. He's in my mind.
Yeah. All right. You head into the central tent. There's actually like a map laid out.
When we go in and we're inside, I tink on the side of the armor with the tip of my claw of his moon head, and I'm like, tink, 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 tink. You can come out now.
Like there's like rivets on the side. He like has to pop and then like lifts it off. You see a humanish, but his skin's like almost his skin. He almost looks like he's been like disfigured or something like that. Like almost looks like he's been badly burned or something like that. But it's not quite as like gnarly. He's scarred, like a lot of scarred flesh, and his skin tone has gone off color and unnaturally colored at that. His eyes are very much human, and he's got a little bit of that like 1,000-yard stare going on, but there's still that sort of warmth of a human face who has.
Yeah, sure.
He speaks in a sort of a raspy voice that one would have. That's had some like vocal damage. He's like, it's been 10 years since I've taken that off in the presence of others.
Yeah, it's a long time. So, how'd you come to be in charge of a tribe of goblins?
Well, this is going to sound odd, but I've heard the bad moon, he says.
That's odd.
Okay.
Their leader, the Git who would be king, doesn't think it's so uncommon that seers go outside the Git's line, he says. And he is known to capture seers and those with visions. He says, I was once such captive. I escaped. And made friends.
So,
Friends is OP.
well, good stuff. So what's your, like, long-term plans vis-a-vis this goblin horde you're building here?
He's like, as I said, and he looks that 1,000-yard stare. I have heard the bad moon, and I think it has different plans than they think. Still, I feel I have a role to play in its descent.
Okay. Sure.
Many of their kind think it is an ill omen. I think it is indeed an ill omen, but for whom? He says. And I think chaos are no more. I think the daemons of Khorne are no more happy to see it descend than the cities of Sigmar.
Well, that's probably true. Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna try something here. We're just gonna make sure that everything's okay. And I'll just, like, kind of touch his chest, and I'm gonna revitalize him and remove all conditions or sicknesses or maladies he might currently have. I don't know that he has any, but if he does, let's go ahead and get rid of those. He's got some gout or something. Or we might be a little cuckoo in the Cocoa Puffs, you know, whatever happens to be the case there.
Yeah.
I elbow Fyrgrim. Hey, remember when I was an orc too?
I just look at Lanissa like the long corner stare.
But it worked. It was better than this guy's outfit. Jeez.
I look over to corner. I look over to camera too and give him the gym look.
He's like, I mean, his eyes seem to clear up a little bit. You've probably kicked some of the shrooms out of his system, but, like, I mean, it's not like he's like, oh, thank you. Finally I see. No,
yeah,
he's
that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't suspect that was going to be the case, but you got to make sure of these things.
Yeah, he's just like, he's like, well, I came down a bit earlier than I expected, but
yeah, that happens around me.
All right. He's like, I find it odd that a Skaven parading about as a priest of Sigmar would have such a skeptic view of a man, well, once a man, parading about as a git. I was a man once.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Well, I'm not walking around in a human costume here, am I? So, you know, I'm just saying. But at any rate, no, it's fine. Look, if the moon spoke to you, the moon spoke to you. I got no issues with that. I believe you, okay? I get it. I myself have had an episode of faith was touched. Now, admittedly, I guess in the lottery of gods to choose you as their followers, I think I came out slightly ahead there. No offense intended, but I got the God King of the mortal realms who rules the mighty heavens with his fist and unbeatable hammer, with the strength of 1,000 legions of lightning forged stormcast at disposal, the enemy of all chaos, the friend and mercy to all who seek his shelter. And you got a rock that kind of looks like cheese. So that's something. It's not bad.
It's a talking rock.
It's a talking rock that looks like cheese, which is pretty good. I mean, like, it's better than some things we've seen people worshiping. So, at any rate, look, my concern is just this. Are you going, like, do you have any intentions or designs on Anvilgard or any of the human civilizations around here?
My eyes turn east, he says.
Okay. Well, there's nothing over there, so have a good time.
Oh, there's...
Knowing full well, by the way, that there are a lot of dwarven settlements over there, but they're not Sigmar settlements. So, like, those do not count. So I'm not going to...
From what I've
Skig
seen,
does not clarify that point.
Yeah, from what I've seen of dwarves, if Fyrgrim's any indication, like, they're going to be going east, and then when they get to the dwarven settlements east, they're going to go south into the ground.
Yeah. That's because isn't like Volstagg or whatever directly east?
Yeah, the Volstagg Lodge.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hey, good luck, guy in a goblin suit. I wish you well.
Yeah, at any rate. Well, so we brought you the moon. You've got a great. Did the knight come in with us? Is he in on this?
No,
Okay.
he didn't come in here.
That's fine. You've got a good servant there in your knight, but you've got to give him a promotion and give him some time off. He's really performing in this organization.
Skwisgaar has been pivotal in my plans. He says it would be hard to lose him.
You don't gotta lose him forever. You just gotta let you're gonna lose him forever. Look, this is you're giving him too much stick. You've got to go for some more carrot here. Trust me, I grew up with just stick, and eventually you revolt. You don't want to lose the guy. He's a quality employee, so you should. But if you give him some time, maybe he could go perform on the road. I'm sure some of these small towns, some of these smaller settlements, they wouldn't kick him out just because he's a goblin. Let him earn a few drops of D, and he can, and then he'll come back. Just tell him he's only got a few days. He seems very loyal to you.
You don't really need to roll any dice here. I mean, it's a pretty sound and persuasive stance. He goes and sort of like leans over the table where he has like a map unfurled, and you can see little sort of like he's got pins and pieces in where other suspected sort of grot holds are, and he's like, we still have to remove Axelrod, he says, who's a scourge on this area.
Is that like another goblin? Is that the spider goblin?
Yeah, he nods. He's like,
okay.
He's like, you've retrieved the stone, so you know where his lair is already.
Yeah. Sure. So you want us to get rid of this guy?
I mean, I was implying Skwisgaar,
we'll bring him too.
But, no, that would free me up to get mobilized, he says.
Sure. So we get rid of the spider guy and you march east. That's the deal here. Also, we need a trade. We're going to need something in payment.
Yes. I was promised a squig pet.
She
a while
gets a
back.
squig.
Well, this guy's handing out squigs.
Yeah,
Bigwinter
I mean,
listens for the first
more
time
than
in
one.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
couple squigs.
Two squigs. We need 2 squigs.
Big one. Or one that can get big, both the same.
It's like a
big one.
a cloud of them has recently spored, he says. I see no problem parting with a handful of them, he says, but they are difficult creatures.
Uh-huh.
I walk up very close to Beastars, putting my finger against his chest. I'll show you difficult if I don't get a squig. All right?
Yeah, trust me, nothing's going to out-difficult her. It's fine.
All right. He just sort of like, he's like, well, vacation time for Skwisgaar and some baby squigs.
Okay.
He's like, this is fair.
All right. We're good. Everybody good? Fyrgrim, you seem like the one who might have a problem with this. I'm just looking at your face right now.
We have a side parlay with Fyrgrim. Like if they try to fight those dwarves, they're so dead. They're so dead. It's fine. Not a single dwarf will die. I've fought fire slayers.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. Besides, we don't know they're going for
One
actual
wound,
damage.
maybe. They're 2 wound boys.
sure they're not actually going for dwarves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other stuff out there too. I would point out that all the chaos stuff is out there too. Which I assume
is really an incredibly doomed patrol, isn't it? Now that I think about it.
There's like a big, depends where he's going east, because there's like two big chaos outposts, one like north and one south.
2 big chaos outposts and a bunch of fire slayers.
Oh, he intends to crash the Bad Moon into a chaos outpost.
This is a minefield. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is win-win. We do some damage to chaos, and we get rid of a clutch of goblins that are honestly way too close to Anvilgard. Like that's because we're actually taking 2 goblin clutches out here, right? Like we're getting rid of the spider ones forcibly, and these ones will now just leave and go attack chaos. This is what we call a win-win-win.
Yeah, and the overwhelmingly likely outcome is that they die before they can do this moon thing anyway. So.
Are you just like openly debating in front of him?
No, we're just having
No, we're just having fun.
Okay. All right.
All right, I think we're good to go. He's on board.
Yep. Let's go get a squig.
Let's go eat some spiders.
A lot of good meat. The legs are nice. You can crack them
Goblin,
and just like kind of, you get the juices right out of there. They're real good.
Yeah, like crab.
It's like crab, except a jelly-filled crab donut.
What's a crab?
On the pinata. Oh, I shouldn't say. Yeah, pinata doesn't exist, huh?
I'm sure there's a proxy for it. There's some customer.
Oh, I'm sure there are crabs. I just can't think of any reason Skig would have ever encountered one.
It's a creature. It's an ocean creature that the meat is so delicious it protects it with armor.
Oh, so it's like a sea spider.
It's a sea spider. Yeah.
Oh,
A
okay.
little bit, yeah.
Okay,
With claws instead of fangs.
gotcha.
I really feel like going on a tangent about how the crab shape has evolved independently several times over realm history.
Oh, like what a crab might be on an action, like where it's ended up.
Well, I mean, true crabs only really once, but like the shape of a crab ends up being like a really efficient shape for creatures to be in.
Right.
Types of lobsters and stuff have gone.
Things keep evolving into crabs. Yeah, multiple species keep evolving into crabs. Yes. Sea spiders. I got it.
Yeah. So, I guess the party agrees to backtrack a bit. You take Squizgar with you. He, mounts Slaypool. You know the way back. Takes you less time to get back to like sort of like where you found the Loon Shrine than before. It's at this point that there's like a little like tiny. There's like actually like, well, roll awareness, everybody.
Sure.
This will be a DN5. A DN5 too.
Yes, I got 2.
Okay.
0.
3.
Hey, Lanissa's sharp-eyed over here. She's ready to go.
No one gets shot with an arrow.
Oh, what'd you get, Fyrgrim?
Nothing. Like I got 1.
Skig and Lanissa both spot it. So they essentially like have now sort of they've got like little bunkers now, sort of like dug in, and those are like relatively obvious. But what isn't obvious is that there are essentially like little traps in the like sort of underbrush, little like mounds that are right in the path to like toward that cave entrance. And
They got some trapdoor spider action. Got it. Well, point them out.
yeah, there's
Standard
about
stupid spider stuff. These things were all over. Do you know how often we run into these things when we're tunneling around? You find these things everywhere. They're just everywhere. You cannot swing a dead Skaven clan rat without hitting a spider in the tunnels. They're everywhere. It's ridiculous.
So you have these two little like sort of like bunker ambush like areas, which conceivably have some grots in them, and you spot those out pretty easily with that sort of. The other ones you spot these four little like sort of traps, these pits, these covered little things. And if you've ever seen those like ambush spiders kill stuff, it's actually terrifying.
Sure. Well, I think we should kind of walk straight up into the middle and pretend like we don't see it, and then when they go to jump us, we turn it around and we jump them. We flip it. We flip it.
Yeah, you flip it. Yeah. Boom, flip it. Yeah. Okay, so you can essentially ready for the ambush. You've got 4 immediate party members. You've got him. What about the sort of like embankments that are sort of flanking the cave in like little odd places?
So what kind of zone situation are we talking about here? Like,
so
what's the distances or zones involved?
So yeah, zone 1 is going to be the cave entrance. Or if you want to call it zone 3. Zone 1 is what's that?
Farthest away.
Yep.
Yep.
Zone 1 is sort of your approach, and then Zone 2 is that sort of no man's land with the traps leading up to the cave entrance.
Okay, got it.
And then you have like effectively a zone 4, which is the wilderness around.
Yep, got it. So, so if we just pushed quickly into Zone 2, we'd be amongst the trapdoors and the bunkers and everything like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you'd be one zone away from the bunkers where they're sort of like staggered.
Yeah, because the bunkers are near the cave entrance, right?
Right.
So there's probably like archers or whatever behind that. Yeah, that's fine. So I think we push. I think basically we just push forward into Zone 2. Let them spring their trap. We see what it is, and then we'll just probably pull that into Zone 3 and fight at the cave entrance.
The Diablo 2 tactic. I like it.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Fyrgrim Bigwinter, how good's your throwing arm?
Bad. Oh. You mean like how hard
can you
I
throw
something? Or
yeah,
how
can you
accurate
throw far?
or something?
Both.
Okay, so hold on. Explain the situation again.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do it. I pull out. I have a couple rations left in my pack. I'm gonna pull one out. I also have some vials of basic poison. I'm gonna pull some of those out. I'm gonna dump one on the rations. I'm gonna give one of the poison rations to Fyrgrim, one to Bigwinter, and say, throw it in the holes with the goblins.
Like into the bunkers, basically, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, into the bunkers.
Okay, but I'm gonna need another because I've already eaten this one.
Do what now?
I hand him mine.
Okay. Throw that one ration into the bunkers with the goblin.
Amazing.
It wasn't very good.
Bigwinter, I'm gonna need you to make a strength check, strength athletics. DN4, and then count your successes. Lanissa, I need you to make a luck check, so just 2d6.
Can this be a ballistics skill?
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're not necessarily aerodynamic, but they're. I'm just imagining, for whatever reason, I imagine rations are just in that circle, like in Metal Gear Solid. Like, it's just, so you just throw it like a discus.
I was picturing like a meat baseball.
Like a meat baseball.
You just pushed it up and went.
I got a 9 on my 2d6.
Okay.
Nice.
Is this a DN4?
Yeah.
3.
Okay. Yeah, you get it all 3 zones across then. It sort of like lands in one of the bunkers. And with the sort of like a little bit of luck on your side, one of the spiders actually like roams up into that bunker. Like it just like it kind of comes out of its trap because it's just a freaking spider. And the meat snack is already there. So it just like goes up in there, and you just like, like it just chaos. It just kind of rains from one of the bunkers. That's essentially going to sort of take precedent over like the sneaky spring the trap sort of thing, because now there's chaos and you've given away your position by throwing this. So we go into initiative.
Okay.
So you're in that zone 1. There's the no man's land, and then there's the bunker / cave entrance.
Yep. Right on. Alrighty. So we'll have to move at least a zone to hit the ambush spiders if that's what we want.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Fyrgrim.
6.
Lanissa.
12.
Bigwinter.
6.
Myriad.
Myriad gets a 7.
Sir Knight.
The knight gets a 7 as well. So they'll just go at the same time, if team attack or something.
Mm-hmm. And the bad guys.
Bad guys are going to go at a 5.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. I'm first. I will move into the ambush zone.
Okay.
And I will take the dodge action.
All right. So you kind of rush up, and you're like, spry and like staying on like the balls of your feet. 2 spiders who are holding essentially like spring forth. You're just gonna kind of negate it. You know the attack's coming. You go into a dodge. You basically like leap up, sort of leap up, and you draw 2 of them out. Now they stay half in and half out, so you have 2 exposed, and they're just like kind of in the middle of.
Do I see more of these little trapdoors, or does it seem like it's 2 here?
It's 2 right here, and then sort of like another halfway through this zone, there's 2 more. Technically, it's all the same zone.
I got it.
But
yeah, so it's 4 total. Okay, cool beans. Great.
These look bigger than the standard ones that were being ridden. They're not full on a Ragnarok
they're bigger.
But they're bigger.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Cool. That is all. Lanissa.
I will move up to support the sprung trap.
All right. Yeah. So that's.
But I'm gonna attack. I'm just gonna attack all of 1 spider just to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So whilst sort of in its little hole, it actually has great defense.
Ooh. Okay.
Back in just 1 second. Next up, by the way, is Myriad and the Knight, whose name will not stay in my head. Vince cannot keep that.
Squizgar?
I remember Slaypool, but Squizgar's name will not stay in my head for some reason.
You've never seen Metalocalypse?
No.
Oh.
7 damage from Lanissa.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you get like a good, like, you sort of like put both of the pincers in it. Now, you will note that these things are immune to poison, so don't be tracking poison.
Yeah, gotcha. I will metal and do it again on the same one.
Okay.
Just 3 damage that time.
Okay.
And no Kraith. I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. Myriad and nope. See, it left just that fast. I swear to God. Squizgar.
Yeah, Squizgar.
Squizgar. All right. Yeah, I assumed Slaypool was just a play on like Les Claypool.
It is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I know the original reference there. Obviously, he's very, very, very famous person, but I didn't.
Yeah, they're
Named Squiggle or something like that, I think.
Squizgar Rockhopper, and there's another reference to like one of the their clan is called the Noghide Stoas, and Noghide is a play on one of their album, one of the Primus album names. So you all will be receiving a bonus XP for catching my really weird reference. Not that Les Claypool is obscure, but the album is, and recognizing it.
All good.
So he's going to step into the zone, like ride forth into the zone, and then he's going to bound an entire zone and just smash into the other bunker essentially with his squig, and it's going to use the literal boing smash charge ability and just like Squigs are way more hardcore in Soulbound than they are in.
Yeah.
They're boing smash. This is not 2d6. This is an insane amount of movement. When we play tested, I'm like, they do what? It was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, it's just a squig, whatever. I'm just like, oh shit. So they take it takes off essentially a long range attack, and he's just gonna smash into the this area. You do see like arrow boys and nettas and little spearmen and stuff, all like kind of in this bunker. About 6 of them kind of like huddled together, 2 of each, and just like pow, they just get plopped on by this thing. It lands. He essentially like does a tandem attack because he is a knight after all, and he goes to skewer one of the nettas because he's familiar with their tactics and he needs to take them out. So we're gonna roll some damage for the squig. Double damage and rend. Nice. All right. All right. The squig essentially comes down maw first and just chomp. One entire goblin gone. And then Squizgar just sort of in tandem lances the other one off to the side, and both of the nettas are taken out. And he's just sort of there. He's got like the arrow boys and the little spear dudes. So he's all up in there. Myriad, on the other hand, is going to rush up, and he's going to go to hit the other spider that's exposed itself. Not an awesome roll. So, okay. He's going to metal. Go to hit it again. That one will do some splash over damage to the other one because they are in the same zone. So he manages to reap, and he just sort of like basically just swings in this great arc and manages to like sort of bring the scythe behind him and flip it around to the other side type thing. Is the only way I can kind of square how he does this. So he reaps 1 extra damage onto that thing, and then he does the big chunk. All right, cool. That's Myriad.
Okay, brings us to Fyrgrim.
I'm gonna start singing.
Technically, by the way, Fyrgrim and Bigwinter are on the same initiative, so like we won't run into any problems. Like if you start singing and move into the zone, he can technically just move with you, so he starts in the zone where you're singing, right?
Yep. 3 damage, and then who else is in my zone?
Right now,
you two.
Yeah.
You and Bigwinter are the only ones at the moment, unless you walk
Okay.
forward to join us.
And then I'm gonna I'll fire form. What spell is that?
Like you could walk the zone and then do all this,
Yeah.
and then you'll hit Myriad, myself, and Lanissa as well. with
Well,
Lanissa.
this one's a self buff. Like there's the starting damage one, and then there's the incandescent form, which is
gotcha.
right now.
Okay.
And I got focus 3. I need 5. So 1, 2. Let's do those 3. So I'll get 2 rounds of this. So, yep, that's me.
Okay. Are you moving up?
And then I move up. Yes, and I move up to with the party.
Okay. Sounds good. And then so Bigwinter.
I'm going spider hunting.
There's 2 exposed. Both look about equally damaged at this point.
Exposed, huh? That was your first mistake.
Mm.
I'm gonna go for the left one.
Okay. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say that's the one that Linus is on.
Okay.
L is for left, and Lanissa.
And I'm in the song zone. Am I in the song zone?
Yes.
Yes. You would be, because you guys both walked up together.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
What's the number on the? What's the bonus for the song zone this time?
+3.
Not bad.
I thought so.
Are they average?
They actually have great armor.
Right.
Or great defense, sorry. They have great in their little, like, hidey holes. It goes down to good when they're not.
All right, that'll be 8, ignoring 2 armor, and that's after the song.
That takes it out.
And I'll meddle and go for the right.
Okay.
That is also 8, but only 1 armor pen.
Still enough to get there, so... still more than enough to get there, I should say. Yeah, you just walk up and give it a 1-2, like skew, like just. You've got them both on your like pike, like little shish kebabs.
Nice. Okay. That then brings us to the bad guys.
All right. The 4 that are in the hole with Squizgar are just going to kind of like pile on and just pile on the attacks, split them up. The arrows both try to shoot him off the mount, and the spearmen try to stab his mount. The mount Slaypool takes sort of one stick to the side, but seems okay. You know, just a flesh wound. Meanwhile, the arrows. He gets 2 arrows put in him, but they sort of like graze off of like his shoulder and his designated good guy spots. So he takes a little bit of light damage. Meanwhile, the nettas and the spearmen come kind of that were in the hole with one of the spiders that just kind of rushed up and kind of lost its cool. Seeing a free meal. It's one of them is dead. Let's see, there's 6 of them, so. One of the spearmen got eaten by a spider along with the ration from the plan. The rest of them basically abandoned the bunker and the frenzied spider. They are cowardly, so like one arrow boy and one netta just kind of like look like they're trying to flee back into the cave. One of the arrow boys and the rest of them kind of keep their wits and charge forward. They go around the little like sand bunkers, and let's see, what is that? So an arrow, we'll go an arrow and a netta flee, which leaves arrow boy just sort of outside the bunker shooting. It's going to shoot at probably Bigwinter. Bigwinter's defense is probably good to great. I imagine I'm looking for 4s or 5s.
I think
Defense is good.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Good. 1 plinks. 1 damage, or sorry, 2 damage comes through, but I think you have armor from an arrow boy. The other one tries to run through the cave. Spearman rushes up, goes to stab Bigwinter, fails to, and then one of the nettas is going to go to throw a net over over Lanissa. Lanissa, you're going to need to roll a reflexes DN 5-2.
Does Contortionist help me at all here?
Not with the net specifically. Sorry. It was like a cage that they like threw at you, which I've been known to do.
Yeah, I will not pass that at all. Big 0.
You are netted. You are prone, and I think it's called restrained. Incapacitated. So, sorry, no, it is restrained.
Yeah,
Restrained
restrained
character
is
cannot move.
And you're, yeah, good.
Yep. Restrained creature cannot move, and melee accuracy and defense decrease by 1 step.
All right.
And prone is prone, like you're, you know.
So how many goblins are now in this middle zone with us?
All but one at this point. Just one arrow boy is standing back. Two fled, so it's effectively two goblins. You've got the one spider still kind of hiding.
Okay. Got it. So 2 goblins and 1 hidden spider. Okay. Sounds good. Well, that's the bottom of the round, so that's new-ish.
All right. With this, my dog is bugging me to take her out, so I gotta go take care of that real quick. But I'll roll my dice. Both sets of goblins get 5s. So
Okay.
I'm going to treat Squizgar as party member, so Ty goes to party. So Squizgar will go before them. And I'm going to automatically have Myriad go last. Okay. Regular goblins are poor if you want to make attacks in my set, or if you want to take a break real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Fyrgrim.
I mean, it's okay. I guess I'll just.
No, your initiative.
Oh. 7. Sorry.
There you go. Lanissa.
9.
Okay, big winner.
8.
All right. Well, Lanissa, you're starting us off.
Guess I'll flail at some goblins here.
With the net on you.
Yep, this will be... Well, it's rough, but I'm also kind of juiced up now. 2 damage on one and 3 on another.
Is that with
Short
the
armor
bonus
damage.
damage? Because you just started
no,
your turn
that's-
in the zone with the bonus 3 damage,
So 5 and 6.
which will probably kill both goblins, I'm sure.
Yeah, Fyrgrim saved that for me.
Fyrgrim's doing the work, the song. All right, big winner.
The song is so good.
It's so good. Can you twist songs?
Oh, like a bard in EverQuest?
Or does it limit you to only having one song active at a time?
It's not clear, and so
Yes, absolutely.
so you probably can, but it would be pretty insane because the other song pushes all of our melee.
Yes.
It pushes all your everything up a step for everybody.
Yeah, and most of what it does is it just it does a weird one's a counter spell song.
Yeah. You don't need that one. You need the one that pushes all our melee and all that stuff up.
No. So no, one oh I guess it is you can hear increases the melee and accuracy by 1 step during their next turn.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. It's hard for me to rationalize doing multiples, right? This isn't EQ. There's
I
no
get it.
Yeah.
You're not a Knight of the Blazing Sun. I get it.
Yes.
Big winner, you want to stab
It's just a mashup, right? It's a classic mashup,
There you go.
I'm gonna kill the one spider that's left. Even if it's in its hole, I'm just gonna stab straight down into the hole.
Sure.
I need 4s, so that's 8 damage with 1 armor pen. It probably won't kill it because the other 2 only died because the other 2 were attacked by party members. Just attack it again.
Sure.
And roll a shitload of 1s, so I do 6 damage with no armor pen.
That's probably still enough. So that's 14 damage total with 1 armor penetration, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably good. I've got to imagine that gets there.
Ow. All right. I'm back. What happened? What did I miss?
I think we took care of some stuff here.
Okay.
Lanissa hit 2 of the goblins, 1 for 5 and 1 for 6.
Done.
And then Bigwinter stabbed the spider for 14 damage, ignoring 1 armor.
The one that was up in the bunker, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
That one has one health remaining.
Boo.
Actually, you know, the other goblins would have fought back. I think one of them would have got a lucky stab in. I think because they would have had like their own.
Did I accidentally save some goblins?
No, I'm gonna say that between all 6 of the goblins, when it they managed to get 1 damage in on it.
Sure.
That's logical. It's done.
So I think that's everything in this zone right now, right?
Well, you've got everything in the zone. Yes, if you kill the 2 goblins that are in the
There's
zone.
still an archer hiding back there by the bunker thing, but yeah.
There's an archer hiding back there by the bunker thing. There's 2 other goblins that are currently engaged, or 4 other goblins rather that are currently engaged with Squizgar, and you have 1 spider that hasn't sprung its attack yet.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So that brings us to myself. I will retain my position and take the dodge action.
Okay.
So Fyrgrim.
I'm gonna fire Flame Blade. Inferno Blades. Looking for 5. 1, 2.
No nets.
3. Yeah, so everybody gets +1 damage. Sets on everything on fire in addition to my +4 or my +3. And then I'm gonna hit something nearby.
Okay.
There's still one other spider. Can he get it? Like if he walks up to it, will it pop out?
Yeah, I mean it's effectively like holding an ambush.
Okay, I will move up and let him punch me in the face.
Okay. You move up. It springs its ambush, so it's going to sort of react. It's going to do its thing. It's great to your armor is what, superb or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on 5s. It does 2 damage, but you're going to need to make a poison save. Hang on a second.
Cool. And what do I need to roll for that?
Let me double check.
A fortitude, maybe?
Yeah, should be.
Looking pretty good. Let's see.
Should be DN 4-3 body fortitude.
DN 4-3. I had 3 successes at 5s.
You're good.
Yep.
You're fine. You resist the poison, which is pretty vicious, pretty gnarly stuff. So
Awesome.
It springs its attack. It's exposed. You can continue your action.
Cool. I am going to.
It's attack. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Let's just see what happens.
Yep.
What numbers am I looking for? I'm on a right now. I'm on a good melee. It just sprung its attack on me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what number do I need?
It's great. So just 5s. Right. Good. Great.
5s. Okay. Good. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 successes.
How much total damage?
4, 8 damage.
8 damage.
And it's knocked down if it can be stunned.
I mean, this is they're large, and you can knock down how big? You can knock down large.
I can knock down large. Yeah.
All right, so it's in its thing. It's a multi-legged creature. They don't really have a multi-legged creature thing going on in this system. I
only had 1 success, so if you want more successes, then we could.
I think I'm gonna say that you need some extra successes to knock it down because it's multi-legged and spindly and climby, so it's not quite knocked down. It does recoil from the weight of the blow, the heft of the blow, though.
Makes sense.
Who next?
Cool. Next up is Squizgar.
Nice. Got it. Nailed it.
That was a shot in the dark.
It's gonna maw a spearman. Spearman gets mawed and noshed, and he's gonna lance. So that spearman's gone. He's gonna go to lance a spearman because they're attacking the beast. That spearman's gone. Just the 2 arrow boys left in the nest with him. He's got a medal. Sure. He's gonna medal and defer to his mount, and his mount's gonna like, just jump in place essentially.
Nice.
1 arrow boy left by him.
Okay. Speaking of, that guy's turn.
Goes to shoot the rider. Wow. Plink right off the armor.
Okay. Then Myriad. You want to take this last guy out, Myriad?
Spider's still there, so he's gonna go ahead and cleave the spider. So he moves up with Fyrgrim. Go for the cleanup hit. He's on 3s. He can boost that one to a 3. Plus the damage that Fyrgrim already did. Does he have a boosted damage right now? He's in the zone with you?
Plus 4, yeah.
Because your bonus damage, that'll be plenty. So he reaps it. You drew it out, boosted the damage, did some damage yourself. Boom, taken care of. So that's 3 of the spiders. There should be 1 in the nest yet. Or did you kill that? Yeah, you killed that one. Yep. All right. It's all 4 spiders. It's just like basically 2 arrow boys on either side of the thing at this point.
Okay. And that's new Nish.
I think they are just going to. They look like they're ready to flee. So
sure.
They get a 6.
They get a 6 on their battle shock?
No, they get a 6 on their initiative. Myriad gets a 9 on his init.
Okay. No. Okay. Fyrgrim.
6.
Lanissa.
10.
Bigwinter.
8.
Squizgar.
Squizgar goes last.
Okay. And bad guys.
Bad guy's got a 6.
Okay. Lanissa, you want to get him before they can run?
Yeah, I'm gonna run up and I will slay one of them with I don't know if you want me to count more than 10.
You run
well,
up.
I want to kill one. I'd like to meddle and do something to the other one.
So you're still netted, right?
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah, shoot, I am. Okay, I'd like to get out of the net, please.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. So you're gonna do a body athletics or you can also do like this sort of reflexes variant of it because you're more as opposed to just kind of powering out. You can also be deft about it. So.
I'll use my athletics. What's my DN on it?
Still the 4. It's a 4.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you need multiple successes. How many do you get?
5.
Oh, yeah. Boom. You're out of the net. That does take your action.
Okay.
You technically have...
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll meddle and kill the other one then.
Yeah,
so there's one left.
All right, sounds good. You meddle. Just don't botch the attack roll. They're poor. You started in the zone with Fyrgrim, so...
Well, there's 3 6s already, so...
Yeah, it's wicked dead. Kraith, get the last arrow boy.
No, that's the opposite of Kraith. It's 1.
1 arrow boy remains sort of in combat with Squizgar.
Okay. Let's see. Myself, I will
Right.
move into the zone.
Do it. Do it.
What am I doing?
Stab it. Give in to Kane.
I will move into the zone with the bunkers in the entrance and take the dodge action.
Can't even be bothered to kill a single grot. The lamest thing in the whole game.
Myriad.
Myriad's not too proud.
He ain't too proud to.
Anyone damaged right now? Just so you can switch spells to the harder one. No. No. Okay.
Nope.
All right. In the Necroblast it is then, because that one does more damage, or easier damage, I should say. Takes 4s instead of 5s. Yeah, it's toast. Just like amethystine necrotic energy, like spirals forth, and boom, it's toast.
Okay. All right. Well, that was easy enough. Now I guess we go inside and find the boss. Do you think he has, like, one of the big spiders?
I hope so.
Probably. There's a lot of meat in that. Think about that. We could eat for... Well, I could eat for, like, a lifetime, but you could eat for a couple days. So that's nice.
Yeah, a couple.
So Bigwinter's gonna have to squeeze to kind of get through, and Squizgar, Squizgar like dismounts with. They're goblins. They fit through easily.
Sure.
So you're gonna have to like kind of squeeze, but the cave entrance does widen up some once you get inside because it's gonna be like a more of a big nest type thing. It's pretty much a straight direct path going forth. You can see the recent footprints in the muck from the two that fled already to kind of rally back to the leader. I mean, they fled immediately. So you can see like the recent like feet in the muck, and there's these sort of luminescent mushrooms growing all over the place, casting this sort of like hazy like blue-green light across the whole area. There is the tinsels and threads of spiderweb all about, and it's thick with dew and slick with some sort of moisture. You proceed forward through the darkness, and as you sort of descend, you can feel yourself going down. You kind of met with just a cavalcade of odors of just various rotten foods, and you can even see like the odd occasional like sort of animal carcass that's decomposed a little bit, that's been dragged in here and butchered for the arachnaroks and stuff. It doesn't take long until you start to hear a little like the steady drip of some water, and then it widens out further. There's a sort of like a little tiny lagoon that you can see, a nice little sort of crescent of space to stand on, a landing. You can see a clutch of sort of oblong figures or shapes wrapped in silk. Most of them goblin-sized.
Sure.
Like, just sort of pinned off to the side, off to the wall, and your eyes sort of gradually follow it up to the massive sort of spider with its almost these barbs, almost like tiny mountain peaks coming out of its carapace, out of its exoskeleton, just sort of looming up in the ceiling. It sees you, you see it. And there's probably like a small this would have been a whole goblin I don't want to say army, but there's more goblins abound. Quick head count, there's about a dozen of them just sort of like huddled off near the lagoon. And yeah, it's go time.
Okay. Do we see like a boss around? Is there a guy on top of Big Spider?
I suppose you can make out the boss atop of Big Spider.
Like, I can't see in the dark, so even if it's dark in here, so.
Yeah, and there's bioluminescent mushrooms and stuff, so.
Okay.
I should say that in our big XP from last time, I finally picked up the all night vision.
Nice. Nice. Welcome to
Wow.
seeing in the dark. Weird one to get, right? It's just like, well, before I couldn't see in the dark. Now I can.
Yeah, it's one of the. Well, I mean, ogres can see in the dark normally. I guess
Right.
it's just a puberty thing. It took a little longer for
It's a-
Bigwinter, but he got there.
Yeah.
Fyrgrim.
Took the magic mushrooms.
8.
Lanissa.
11.
Bigwinter.
9.
Okay. Myriad.
8.
Squizgar.
Squizgar gets an 8 as well.
And Bad Guy.
7.
Okay. So there's a bunch of goblins around. How do they look? Are they like huddling away and not looking like they want to fight us, or are they looking like they're going to let the boss make the first move and then, jump in afterward?
The latter. They're yeah.
They're not going to be the first mover here. They're goblins. And
What
then,
does the big guy look like?
The
are you
big
asking, does he look shamany or loon bossy?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
shamany.
Weird 6-eyed dude. So what's the zone situation? Like, we're in zone 1 on the ground right here in the entrance to this big cave.
Mhm.
And then there's a little, you said there's like a
A lagoon, like a little
yeah, like an underground pond or something, right?
Mhm.
Is that like zone 2, and then the spider up above us is zone 3? How high up is he in the air?
enough to be considered like a zone 3, like a zone up.
Okay, so he's up on the ceiling, as it were.
Yeah, there's like stalactites hanging down and stuff, all covered in mushrooms of gnarly and wicked exotic sorts.
Cool beans. I'm first. I will take the dodge action. Done. Lanissa.
I wander over to go take care of the goblins looking at the spider, which is big old nope on my head right now.
Yeah, just taking just like Lanissa walks forward, just 20 goblins all cowering before her.
I know how to deal with these ones.
All right.
Are they still...
They're pretty much in the same zone. They all move like a threat approaches. They all kind of get into motion.
Are they still average armor?
They are poor. These are not. Yeah. They're poorly armored, and I mean they can swing a spear, but it's their goblin-y tricks you got to look out for.
So it'll be 4 damage on one, 3 on another.
Oh, that'll do it.
I'll metal and do it again.
Okay.
And 4 and 2.
Yeah, both done. So you kill 4 of them so far.
Yep, I'll try a Crave here. Nope.
Okay.
Just cutting swaths through the goblins.
All right. Brings us to Bigwinter.
Right. How many zones away was the big?
It's a
He's
zone
one
up.
zone away, but he's up in the air.
How high up in the air?
Basically a zone up. Like,
Can I reach by being big and having a pike?
not quite.
Can I have a mighty leap?
I'd say with a mighty leap, you could maybe you'd stand a chance at hitting it. You're gonna go down.
How great the ogre's vertical leap is now that I think about it.
No, I'm.
The architecture around here. How
There's a
about-
lot of muscle under there.
There is.
I
there's a
watched
lot-
sumo today. I saw some shit, man. Three
the
full.
stamina isn't quite there, but the athleticism is for the sumo.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard until it comes down. It's going to be difficult to hit it, and the possibility exists that it just stays up there while the shaman bombards you with crazy spells.
True. All right. I have a plan. I'm going to first and foremost kill a bunch of these goblins.
Okay. So you go and join Lanissa.
And they have like 4 and like 4 wounds and stuff.
Oh, they
can't.
I'm going to enact the like their horde. You're gonna be able to kill like 2, like with one good piking.
6 damage.
Yeah, you skewer 2 like just in a row.
Metal. 7 with a armor pen.
Yeah, you skewer another 2. They're like just kind of still on there with the 2 spiders. The pike is getting kind of heavy.
Okay. Anything else there, Big Winner?
Good for this turn.
All right, Fyrgrim.
Let's sing, because I haven't done that yet. Ooh. Really?
Was it a bad sing?
Yeah. Everybody gets +1 damage.
Hey, it's still damage.
I'll take it.
That's sad.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. And then I'll Inferno Blades. Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, did we just miscast?
Yeah, I got my first miscast. Oh, no. I don't even know what that does.
Well, I got you. I'm flipping over to the miscast table right now.
Let's do some shit.
Okay. So, if you fail a channeling test, roll in the table below. The amount of d6s rolled is equal to the difference in the complexity of the spell and the number of successes, if any, on your channeling test. So what was the complexity of the spell?
5. And
No,
I
no.
have 1.
The success number. How many successes did you need?
3, and I got 1.
Okay, so you rolled 2d6.
Okay. You got a 6 total.
6 total. The spell is cast, but it has the opposite effect as to what was intended. Damaging spells heal toughness, bonuses become penalties, and allies are affected instead of enemies, and so on. So I believe he just, by the reading of this, I mean, obviously it's up to you, Meph, but I think the direct thing would be he just Inferno Blades the goblins' swords or spears.
I think so.
Yep.
So 12 goblins now have like flaming weapons.
+1 damage. +1 damage for 1 round.
They're just like, ah!
Suddenly feel less confident.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Hard mode unlocked. Okay.
Hard mode unlocked, yeah. Who's up next?
Anything else, Fyrgrim, or
Thing.
good?
No, I've done enough.
I buffed us, I buffed the enemies. We get +1 damage, they get +1 damage. You gotta keep it even.
Yeah. Amazing.
Myriad.
Myriad's going to gets to reaping. So he's going to head up there. 6s will be useful here, because every 6 will actually just kill a bonus goblin.
By the way, Tom, in the future, make sure you fail by 3, and then roll 3 6s.
Awesome. I'm on it.
What does it do?
Well, not only will it instantly mortal wound Tom, but it will also summon a permanent endless spell.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
I'm going to try to tame it.
Or eat it.
I mean, that's the plan B, right?
Always.
So Myriad manages to kill one, and then he gets the sort of the sweeping damage and kills an extra one. He's going to metal and keep a metal in the tank for when that spoder comes down. He manages to kill another and reap another. So there only 8 have flaming blades right now.
Okay. Squizgar.
Uh,
Get it?
yeah.
Squiz-
No, you got it. So Squizgar is like, he's like, that's the boss, he says, and he points up. He,
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
up there.
yeah, he just like, he pats Slaypool. Charge! He shouts, and they like leap into the air. Like, Squizgar latches onto a stalactite with his jaws, and Slaypool latches onto a stalactite with its jaws, like its gaping maw, and he just starts like a flurry of slashes at the boss atop the Arachnarok.
Awesome.
That's why we need those squigs.
This is just proving the necessity of these pets.
It solves problems.
He actually manages to get a nice deep cut into the shaman, on its back, and then he meddles. Oh baby, piercing. He gets like a quick flurry of like slashes and jabs with the lance, and he manages to beat up a little bit on the shaman. He's still standing, and Squizgar's still like just up there, just like yeah.
Sure. Well, it's the bad guy's turn.
Okay, so Squizgar, that was super heroic and really sweet looking, but it's time to. You're all basically in one zone down below.
Yep.
I thought we were in.
We all went
Two.
down to the Lagoon zone. We're all in 2.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's gonna go to cast a spell.
Sure.
3 successes, Myriad. You've waited your whole life for this. So he needs 3 4s to unbind. Well, no, he's got to beat it, right? Oh no, he doesn't have to beat it because his lumen scythe, so he must tie it. He gets 4 anyway. He unbinds the spell. He is out of metal. The Arachnarok itself is going to go to just nosh on Slaypool, which is keeping Squizgar up in the air. Great attack. It pierces Slaypool with both of its mandibles, and you can hear the rock crack underneath it as it sort of pierces through the flesh and through its maw and into the thing. Slaypool isn't moving and kind of slides on the pillar and falls to the ground. Squizgar plops into the lagoon, and the Arachnarok just kind of chitters up in the ceiling a little bit. And then 8 goblins go to pile on. Oh hell, we'll go for it. Bigwinter for it, Lanissa. Easy math.
Defense good.
Okay.
Defense also good.
Alright, they need 5s, and I'm just going to roll. will be 2, 2, 2, nothing. Against you, Bigwinter. Lanissa, nothing. 3, 2, nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. They're buffed right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all up by 1.
All those values go up by 1.
So I might actually take a wound here. I'm going to use my...
Yeah, so one of them did... It was, 2... so what it was... a 3 became... Or a 2 became a 3, and then you had a 3 became a 4 against you, Lanissa, and then I think it was... What is it? 2, 2, nothing, nothing? So it was all 3s... 2 3s against you, Bigwinter.
Did you say all 3s?
Yeah, basically. I think...
All right.
So literally just the fire damage got through, basically.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you said you're going to use your, like, a once per ability or something like that?
No, I'll save it. It's a once per session he gave me, but I'll save it for now.
Okay.
Fire
Anything?
gobos, that's right.
Anything left from the bad guys?
No, that's it. The Ragnarok attack Slaypool and...
All right. Fyrgrim.
So we have some goblins.
No,
right?
initiative.
Oh, sorry. 10.
Okay. Lanissa.
8.
Bigwinter.
9.
Myriad.
Myriad gets a 9.
Squizgar.
Squizgar is going to go last.
Okay. And do we have 2 different bad guy initiatives or 1?
Just 1. They're 8. The grunts all act on the leaders effectively.
Sure. Yep. Fyrgrim, you're starting us off. So it was your action. So now go ahead.
I'm going to give them a buff spell again.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what's happening. Here we go.
So their ignite weapons is off, right? Because you...
Yeah, failed by 1.
Roll a d6. Oh my god, you've never miscast this bad. That's hilarious.
2.
2. Okay, I got you. I think you take some damage. Hold on. I gotta flip back to the miscast table now. I went away from it. 2. Roll a d6, Tom.
3.
You take 3 damage.
Oh.
It's the most
Does
damage.
my armor negate that?
I would.
My runes?
It's not specific in the table. I'll leave it to Meph.
I think
you suffer 1d6 damage.
I think you're gonna take it straight.
Okay.
Like your runes are like also like the source of your casting power too, so it's like they.
Yep, it's true.
They backfire against you, so.
Yep, that's legit. I'll take it.
Okay. You do anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Okay.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Big winner. It's all right.
It would have been worse if you buffed the goblins again, because they actually deal damage.
Yeah.
Well, the bad moon is clearly over here, so it's causing a
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's that -1 to cast.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or was
Yeah, so the goblins are no longer on fire, huh?
They
right.
are not.
I'm slightly sad about this. I had a plan.
Fyrgrim's on fire, like a little bit.
Literally.
Yeah.
Izzy.
Yeah. 3 damage worth of on fire.
Literally on fire.
I look at him as if to say, would you like to attack the big spider?
I'm burning right now. Does that change anything?
I'm going to take almost any answer as a yes, besides the word no.
Okay. Sure.
He's a ballistics attack. You're gonna take just you're going to take the fire damage for picking him up, so you just take 3 damage.
Sure.
You just take it through the armor and everything. Fyrgrim, you are now a ballistic weapon that does strength plus 3 damage. Oh, but you are also a hefty dwarf, so I'm going to go ahead and say you can... do you have a medal available?
I mean, I do.
If you medal, you can...
Yeah.
If you medal, you can attack the Arachnarok as you hurtle through the air.
Sure. Sounds great. Why not?
All right, the 4.
I think it's these Nurgle dice. I think that's the problem here.
Yeah. So you're attacking you're doing a ballistics attack against the Arachnarok effectively.
Okay. What's its defense?
The Arachnarok is superb. So how many successes? The order of operations. Bigwinter, how many attacks did you do, or how did you do with your ballistic attack?
Oh, it's superb, and my ballistics is average, so I need 6s probably.
Yep. You succeeded. You succeeded. You said you had 4 successes to actually like hurl him, so you get enough lift. 4 successes. I'm just counting that essentially as like get threshold of the zones. So you managed to throw him like effectively a whole zone up, which is plenty. And then you need to roll the actual like ballistic attack. So you need 6s.
And so what am I rolling?
You're rolling just a straight up attack as you spiral and hurtle through the air.
Okay, and he said he's superb?
Yes.
Okay. So I got 1 success, which means that I'm a 1, 2, 6 damage. He's lit on fire.
I like the conversion between successes and how successful that was.
Yeah.
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 And he can't be knocked down because of reasons.
Well, he's also enormous.
Really
like he is not. Yeah.
Yeah. He can't be stunned.
And then when Fyrgrim falls back to the earth, I'm going to like catch him on the way down and use that momentum to throw him up again. Oh wait, you probably don't have another.
I do. I have multiple because I haven't spent on the last 2 turns.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that. Like spin right, maintain that, and whip.
Yeah,
him
so
back.
you like catch him and like keep spinning with him, and then just like.
Yeah, with even more force than last time. Yeah.
I'll give you a +1.
Wait! As I whip back around into the air.
I will give you I will give you advantage on the athletics to hurl him because you're using the momentum and technique.
What's it?
You only need 3s for your success.
You need 3s instead of 4s to like get enough distance on him.
In which case, it is still 4.
Okay. Yep. You managed to get the distance. Now accuracy. Roll your ballistics attack.
2 6s.
2 6s. That's going to be 6 damage because he's on fire.
Checks out.
And then now you may roll your attack again as you're like hurling through the air. I'm going to drop you a single step though because you're disoriented and like, like you are not designed to be a throwing weapon.
6 more damage.
That'll fell the Arachnarok.
Right. I got 2 medals, Fyrgrim. It's always the time, right?
He falls like the Ragnarok falls and like there's a shaman in the water, and yeah.
Solid.
Do you have a second medal or a third one, Fyrgrim?
You start with 1 base, right?
Yeah.
And then it's 1/2 your soul.
No, you don't start with any base. Like it's always a calculation.
Okay. So I have 3 soul, which means I have
2 metal.
2 metal. Okay, so no, I only had 2.
Okay.
Sorry to
That's
disappoint.
fine. Well, I'm not gonna toss you around regularly, but
or again, we can have this conversation.
yeah, this will be a discussion later. Perhaps
I consider this an absolute win.
Okay.
I wanted to throw you up one last time so you could like suplex him from up there, like onto the as he was falling.
So is the goblin in the lagoon now? Did the
Yeah.
shaman fall down?
Yeah, the shaman's in the lagoon, and you've got the 8 other goblins over, kind of off with Lanissa and
Okay.
Myriad.
All right, well, I'll meddle again and make sure the goblin stays in the lagoon, if you catch my meaning.
Yeah, you wade into the pool and just... It's not very deep.
What's his what's the shaman himself?
Oh, he actually has a great defense.
Ooh, so I need 5s, huh? That's only 3.
Total damage?
Unless I'm... Oh, yeah, that's right. 5.
And then plus the 1 for the song.
Yeah, 6.
Okay. He's already taken 6. Yeah. That does it. You like just kind of like he's like in the water. He's
You're fishing, yeah.
and just yep.
Very nice. Anything else, Bigwinter?
Nope. I only have 2 metal.
Then that brings us to Myriad.
Myriad is going to reap. 1/6. It'll be an extra gobbo dead, so he kills 2. There's 6. He doesn't need to worry about storing his metal anymore, so he'll use it. That'll be 2 extra dead as he reaps. So 3 dead. Leaving 3.
Okay. Well, here to back cleanup, it's Lanissa.
Where did Slaypool fall?
Slaypool like kind of landed like right on the edge of the lagoon on the like the sand.
I abandoned the fight and run over to Slaypool.
Slaypool's not doing too well. It's like
I will begin shoving D into his mouth. Just 20D, just right in there.
okay, all right. Slaypool's like suddenly
For those
like
in chat, there is a specific Twitch emote for this very thing. This one.
Slaypool's like little eyes like open up and they're suddenly more like chibi and anime as it is brought back from the door of the abyss like that it was staring down.
Perfect. I will metal and go kill some goblins.
Priorities. Support.
Amazing.
I love it.
Both two goblins will each take 5 damage each.
Yeah. There's one remains.
I didn't create, so I didn't finish it.
Oh, just the one.
Okay. Myself.
Dodge, dude.
Come
dodged.
on. Just one.
I will heal everybody. Suppose I should do. Suppose I should actually roll dice on some action tonight. I guess.
Kane cries somewhere in the distance.
That was a big one. Jesus, please. I'll heal everyone for 12. Including Slaypool and
Squizgar, you got it.
Twicebound. I wasn't even close. I don't know why. I seriously cannot get this guy's name.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'll heal, including the 2 of them, obviously. So everybody heals 12. I meddle and take the dodge action. I'm done.
Yeah, you gotta stick to your guns. That's proper.
This is amazing. Oh.
That's the goblin.
Squizgar?
No,
Or-
the
Oh yeah, Squizgar goes
goblin.
way left.
The remaining
The
goblin.
one goblin goes to stab just Lanissa because that's where and 1 damage. Your armor takes care of that. So, well, 2 damage. Sorry, it's S +1.
I give him one of these.
I mean, bless him, he still tried.
Whatever.
You know,
It is the original spearman that survived the Arachnarok, like the mini Arachnarok attack, and like fled into the cave. Like so, he gets an A for effort. Like he's really got some gumption.
Yeah, I thought that guy was gonna run.
So now it's Squizgar at the bottom of the turn. Squizgar like just comes rushing out the lagoon, just like holding the lance above his head, and just pow, he skewers it to the wall.
Sure.
that last one was made of sterner stuff.
Yeah, a very brave goblin.
I'll have to cook him a little longer. So,
Well, he remained fighting. He didn't run. He died an honorable death. All right.
Squizgar rushes over to Slaypool.
whose name was almost poetic.
I assume he's fine.
Yeah, the D plus the healing pretty much took care of it.
Yeah. Yep. A lot to be said there about that.
I know.
Lanissa took, but I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's more the exact words that Lanissa used. Yeah, I'll be like, all right, well,
I'll
I guess we did it.
go to the shaman, maybe take his crown or his head or something to take back.
Yeah. He is like the weird, like, six-eyed little gobbo shaman thing that started to mutate and take his head. Unmistakable.
I'll help Bigwinter cut up some of the big Arachnarok meat. Start getting out the juicy bits on that. Get some leg pieces. The leg pieces are good pieces, especially the upper legs. That's like the thick thigh meat on an Arachnarok. Flip the pick around and just crack that right open. Suck out those juices.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are fun. You heat them up, and then you kind of like break the middle part and just slide it. It's like it makes eating fun.
Don't forget to grab some of these mushrooms. See what kind of fun dreams they give us.
Oh yeah, I'm writing it down.
Bigwinter, you are a professional cook after all. So you properly harvest all the fixins that you need for a proper feast. Well, meal.
Yeah, I got spider stuff, gobbos, Arachnarok meats, glowy mystery mushrooms. This is going to be an adventure.
All right.
Human rations as well.
You guys just kind of like head right back to the camp then?
Right back,
All right. You head back to the camp. Bigwinter's got just this like this mountain of just stuff up, like it's just up over his back, and it's all like tied together and stuff. He looks like he's got like a huge like hiking pack just filled with stuff.
Like a Arachnarok leg just poking up at a weird angle.
Yeah. Yeah. You make it back to the camp. You're sort of like immediately allowed into the main tent there, and Beastaw's keeping his helmet on this time. Like the head is just, he immediately recognizes it. He's like, he's just like, I really appreciate this. And by this time, the camp's in motion to be mostly packed up and stuff. They're getting ready to kind of move out. He's like, well, I'm a god of my word, he says. And he takes you over to the stables, and he gestures at like a small little like cluster of like the tiniest, cutest squigs you've ever seen. They fit in like the palm of your
like
hand.
baseball size or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, they're like a softball size.
This is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Squizgar gives Slaypool all the cuddles, like, I'm sorry, buddy, and feeds him just like a just goes in and like gets the biggest handful of like the deliciousest like sort of like mushrooms and like weird limb bits from like people from goblins they've beaten, and like feeds Slaypool and pats him, and he shows a great deal of affection for his mount that he nearly lost, and he rushes up to you. I can never thank you enough for saving Slaypool. He's like,
As I gently am like playing with these young squiglings, I kneel down next to the goblin. If you ever let him get hurt again, I will find you and I will end you. And I pat him on the head and smile.
like the cute little like baseball sized squigs, like they nom you a couple times, like they have no idea, so they're super bitey, like puppies. They're just like super bitey. But it's cute.
Perfect. What's is any specific color bond to me that might affect the name?
I think there's a purple one that like kind of glomps your nose a little bit, but doesn't but actually shows restraint with the teeth.
I shall take it, and I shall name it here soon.
Okay.
Bigwinter, are you taking one too?
Yeah.
One of the babies.
I'm going to look at all the ones that are before me and use some sort of beast handling or nature to determine which one will become the biggest and strongest.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll growl at them, and whichever one doesn't run away, like that's going to be the mightiest. There's just some silly.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll it. You roll a mind beast handling, no, this is a soul. This is a
beast handling a soul. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a soul.
Yeah.
This is a soul. Yeah.
Oh, what's my target number?
DN4 numbers of successes are relevant.
4.
Ooh, like you menace and growl the lot of them. Not only does one of the most like the squigs all like they understand the bestial nature here, and they all like kind of cower back, and a couple are like indifferent, but one actually steps forward and growls back. It's a green squig with a little like yellow tiger stripes.
Green squig with yellow tiger stripes. All
right. Yours is purple with a blue, almost teal underbelly.
Clearly the superior color pattern.
At some point, it will earn a proper big name, but until then, I shall call it Boy.
Perfect.
I like it.
I think I immediately go, maybe I'll call you Raisin. I look over at Bigwinter. Maybe I won't name you after food.
Oh, don't worry. It doesn't matter what anything is called. It's all food to me.
It's just present food or future food.
We catch a shot like.
By the way, its big name obviously will be Big Boy.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers ahead.
Fantastic. So at this point,
I feel this was great success. I'm glad you both got your pets. I'll just I'll shake Squizgar's hand before we leave.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him, you seem like a very brave knight. Should you ever wish to actually serve a great god, one who will respect your confidence and determination in battle and your prowess, you should seek after Sigmar. If you search for him, he will find you.
He's like, I have a lot of searching to do. A knight who gets his mount slain is no knight at all.
Well, he didn't die. Also, another reason to follow Sigmar.
You're welcome.
He looks like he mounts up and he looks over, like he packs he packs Slaypool. You know, he's got the little saddlebags off, and he's got his like guitar. Like he does a little strum real quick on his squeetar, like ding, and then like puts it on his back. He's like, "I'm ready for my vacation," he says. "I'm happy I've met adventurers such as yourself." And then he like rides, and you see him like up on the hill with the sunset behind him, you know, like, and then he just like rides into the sunset. Yeah, and meanwhile, you guys kind of like get your heading back. You find your wagon. The horses are there just grazing. The campsite, you know, the fire's smoldered out from you know, the night before. It's pretty much just, you know, the next night at this point. Mm-hmm. So like maybe relight the fire and get your headings back, or and you sort of point your way towards
Edassa.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep. Point your way towards Edassa, and
Oh, and I make a feast for everyone. Little feast.
Nice. We've got the meat.
And I make
We're like Arby's over here. We've got the meats.
Yeah.
I make a special feast for Boy with only the spiciest ingredients. Arachnarok brains, all 3 of the different super spicy crazy stuff I had last time. Bunch of mushrooms. Goblins, of course.
You wake up you know, like you have this mighty feast. You wake up the next morning and you swear Boy has already doubled in size.
I have big plans for Boy. I'm already typing them. Typing up a storm over here.
Lanissa, as the sort of your wagon, your squig on the other hand is like the exact same size. It didn't get the special spicy meal. And it didn't have the soul, but it is adorable, and you know, it blebs you again on the nose, and then and you guys sort of point your cart towards the Reaver Wastes and Edassa on the other side of that. Lanissa, you have this sort of, you feel this weight as you're getting further from Anvilgard, and it doesn't escape you that you still have this arrow on you.
Yeah, I mean, the party could welcome the roll an awareness, but if they just look over my general direction, will notice that I'm pretty much staring back towards Anvilgard pretty hardly, and being very quiet and not stabby for once.
Actually, I'm looking over because Bigwinter really wants to talk to you about a proper diet regimen for your squig to get the attributes you're looking for, like depending on what they are.
Yeah, whatever you feed it, it gets those attributes.
Real graph, circle graph, yes.
Yeah, and so I'll have a discussion with Lanissa about what kind of food regimen he wants for his Pokemon, so that it gets certain stats like cuteness or whatever he's going for, kill power, probably a mixture of the two if it's Lanissa.
Yeah.
And then me and Fyrgrim have the talk, and it basically comes down to, I found a new thing to throw, it's okay.
It's gonna throw squig. All right. We'll leave it there if you
You have chain traps, right? I'm going to have a living chain trap, like it's squig on a rope.
Yeah.
We're bringing back the rope, Vince.
Checks out.
It's time.
The goblins with a rope or whatever that was.
Goblins with a rope. Yep.
Yeah.
That's well, we can call it there, unless you approach Lanissa's sort of listless gaze, and you're gonna walk away with some bonus experience points for this evening. It'll put you at 4 for this little side quest, which isn't too bad.
If I ever get a second squig, I'm putting it on the other side of the rope, and it'll be a squig bolus.
Like Bola, like the most horrifying. Like...
And it both wraps up, and they just like hang right here.
terrifying, terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, my squig's name is Lokir, after a legendary Scourge privateer that stories I heard about when I was younger. Passed in the myth.
Perfect.
You just misheard because Lokir used a squid as his symbol.
Yeah. Yep.
You just misheard him last time.
Yep.
Yeah, it checks out. How many points? How many experience should we have?
77 now. Or yeah, 77. Okay. That's right.
Amazing. Well,
Fantastic.
thank you all for playing tonight. Chat gang, thanks for watching. You're the show within the show. The reason we do this thing. Drink your milk, pay your taxes. I'm signing off. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for gaming.